Hey, you guys, this is Christina here, and today I'm going to talk about how to make more money in 2020 by doing just one thing with your email list. We're going to kind of just dive into that today, talking about all that. This is actually the Ribbit Show, and this is episode 1 of the Ribbit Show 2020. We're going to be changing and morphing everything as we go along, but today we're going to talk about that ever elusive how to grow your business. And I'm going to give you one thing to actually do. And then we're going to talk about some other things too, because hey, I got a lot going on with my email community and my email list and my business. And I just kind of want to chat that with you guys and then see what you guys have got going on and how it's happening. So, all right, you guys, if you're here with me, please do me a favor. Please wave, say hello, click like, let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're watching with me, and let's do this. Okay. So what I want to know is, first of all, for those of you who do have an email list, what do you think that one thing is that I'm going to tell you to do with your email list? I want to know that in the comments, whether you're watching this live with me now. Really, live would really help because I really want to get your idea of what you think is going on or what you think you should do. But 2, if you're watching this in replay, share with me before I actually get into the meat of this show. So here's the thing for you guys. I don't know about you, but 2020 has been interesting. I feel like 2020 started for me sometime in November, maybe towards the end of October, because towards the end of October is when I do my planning for my next year. And I just feel like I did my planning for 2020, and then I broke down my 90-day goals and I started working on those in November. So it was just funny. I was so energized and so pumped by what was coming that I was like, okay, I want to hit these goals, but I want to be to this point to hit those goals. And so I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm like 3 or 4 months into 2020, even though it's like, 7 days, get that right. It's 7 days in, but I feel like I'm a couple months into 2020. How about you guys? I'm curious. And then what are you doing? Have you set some goals? I did ask this on the page today. Have you set goals for 2020? Not just resolutions, but have you set goals of things that you actually want, number 1, want to achieve, and 2, that you set yourself up to achieve? Have you done any of that? Let me know. Hi, Carrie. How are you? I'm trying to see on the, kind of hard to see sometimes on the screens, all your guys' comments and stuff. Hi, Carrie. I think I saw Joe on here too. Jamie. Hi, guys. Yeah, this is it's interesting. Hi, Steven. It's interesting. I feel like I started 2020 like 2 months ago, and I have been really working towards some very specific things in my business. So just curious about you guys, what's going on, etc. This is more of a little bit more of a chattier version of the show. I want to talk with you guys. I want to engage with you guys. I want to hear from you more. I want to have conversations with you. Eventually, we're going to be bringing some of y'all on to the show to see what's going on. But one of the things that I have been doing very seriously, my mentor said something recently, which is very interesting that he said this just recently, because I've gone back to this. I'd already gone back to this. He said that if, we don't always need to be looking for something new and different. If something is working in our business, we need to make sure that we double down on that and do more of it. So with that said, I had been doing all kinds of different things with my business. But one of the things that I left behind almost 2 years ago now was a very specific type of evergreen funnel. And I can dive into this more if you guys want me to in future episodes, but I left behind a very specific kind of evergreen funnel in favor of doing like live launches or even pre-recorded launches. For some reason, I thought it needed to be a one or the other and not a combined both. But anyway, I left behind those evergreen funnels. And here's the thing, the evergreen funnels that I had set up, they worked really well. It helped that my business was always growing. I was never kind of sinking down. Whereas, when you do a launch, you go from, the big launch and then attrition happens, especially if you're doing memberships. This is a membership that I'm specifically talking about. But I had decided around October that I was like, you know what? I am going to put these funnels back into play. I'm going to revamp them, redo them, realign them, and I'm going to get them into play. And so, because they worked for me. So it's really interesting that just a couple days ago, I heard him saying, you know, you need to do more of what's working for you and stop trying to do all kinds of other things. And I was like, oh, well, that's good, because that's what I'm doing. So I started doing that. I'm getting all my funnels redone, in fact, and revamped. And in fact, I've actually improved on them, because there are things that I didn't have in place in previous versions, like maybe some tech that I hadn't learned or hadn't implemented and stuff. So I went through that. So all over the Christmas, like from mid-December until now, I'm still working on some of them. I did take the holidays off. Like I took Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day off. But I did work normal schedules all the other times. And that's where I've been building it. And it's been interesting because I have them in play. And I'm putting more into play, and they're working. I don't have ad spend behind them yet, but they are working without ad spend, just organically. So it's been interesting that I needed to hear that again. I needed to be reminded of that you need to do more of what's working and not what you think you should be doing. Does that make sense, you guys? Like, that we tend to like jump around and do all these different things, but we need to do more of what's actually working, not what you're hearing other people say you should be doing. So that's a really interesting concept. Carrie said, doing audience building, list building, and then figuring out how to monetize the long distance grandparent. Yes, exactly. You know, it's interesting, the figuring out how to monetize. I was just on a training with somebody. I'm jumping into the TikTok realm. I don't know if you've heard of TikTok, but I'm jumping to the TikTok realm a little bit. I really like the platform. And if you are not on TikTok yet, stop listening to what people say about it and just go get onto it, give it a week, and start watching and seeing what's happening. But anyway, I'm jumping into that a little bit because I really like it. Like when Facebook came out, I like took to Facebook like it was awesome. I loved it. And then when Twitter came out, I didn't like it so much. Never really did like it. My husband did. I did not like it. Instagram, it was okay. I mean, it's okay. But what I have really taken to is TikTok. That's me personally. I'm trying to figure that out why. But part of the thing is that I'm not really exactly sure how, and I put quotes around how I'll monetize TikTok, but I do know that I want to do the land grab right now. And that was one of the phrases that was in the training. It's a land grab. So I'm getting out there. I'm just starting to do this stuff to get out there. It will help build the audience. It's going to help drive traffic to other areas. And I already know how I monetize. You know, I have the memberships, I have courses, I have workshops, I've got some affiliate stuff, I've got all kinds of different ways to monetize. So I know that I'll get there, I'll drive people to that there. What I'm not worried about is figuring it out before I start. And that sounds like what you're doing, Carrie. It sounds like, you know, audience building, list building, and then I'm going to figure out how to monetize. And that's a big deal. Like not stopping, not making progress forward simply because you don't know how you're going to monetize. The monetization ideas will come. You can pivot. You can do whatever you need to do. So that's a big deal. Moving forward without that. So, or with that, it's a good thing. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm glad you're figuring that out and moving forward. Hi, Sally. So figuring out what grandparents want and will buy. Yes. Yeah, that's true. Ways to connect with their grandkids. I have grandkids, but I have grandkids. That's a new one to me. I'm a grandparent. I don't feel like I thought a grandparent would feel. I don't feel like I look like what I thought a grandparent. I mean, like literally, I'm 49. I have friends that are younger, friends that are older, and I've got friends that are younger that have been grandparents for a few years. So it's not like, you know, whatever. But I don't know what I thought. But each time you hit that new milestone, do you ever feel like you're really that age or what you thought that age would look like or feel like or whatever? I don't know. Anyway, there it is. So anyway, so it's just really interesting that the building the business, the moving forward, all that kind of stuff. That is always my goal, is to move forward. My goal is to leverage the platforms that are out there. There's so many free platforms out there that will help you build your business, help you build your audience, that you, if you know, and if you can figure out how to strategically use, you can build a business for no advertising cost other than your time. And Facebook will allow you to do that. There's all kinds of ways to do that. And don't tell me reach is dead on Facebook. It is not, but we're not really talking about Facebook. We're talking about whatever you're doing, you need to be building your email list as well, because you own that email list. Most women become grandparents at the first time at age 50. Yeah. Well, technically I was a grandparent 4 years ago now. We just found out about him, our grandson. So it's a long story, but just found out about that grandson because our son just found out about that son. So yeah, Sally's, I'm a 61-year-old, 16-year-old Grammy, and you're right, you don't look like your grandma like my grandma looked like. That's what I always thought. Like, I always thought, I don't know, short, white, curly hair. But honestly, now when I'm really looking at people, that's more somebody who's in their 70s than in their, just turning into 50. So it is interesting growing that. Oh, the plot thickens. That's right, Carrie. The plot thickens. That's interesting growing into those ages. I remember, and I have one more to do this. One more of my 4 boys has to do this. But I remember when I turned 18, you think something's going to feel different or change when you turn 16 and then 18 and then get married and then 25 and then have kids and, all these things. And it's different. I don't know what the expectation versus reality, I guess, is what it is. You're still 16 in your heart. That's right, Sally. Yeah. So it's just interesting how our perceptions and the reality and stuff. And I know something that I did do this year. I'm going to be 50 in November. So I turned 49 November. And one of the things I really wanted to do was, I'm kind of tired of myself, for not working harder to create better habits and get rid of bad habits. Or I was irritated. It was something that was bugging me. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to do something from my 49th to 50th year every single day. I'm going to do it every day without fail. And I gave myself lots of loose parameters around it because the goal was I wanted it to be something that got me outside of my comfort zone, but also something that I could do every single day, even if it was family day, even if I was on vacation. I wanted to be able to do it every single day without question. So for me, I just was like, you know what I'm going to make sure I do an Insta story. So I go on Instagram every single day and I do an Insta story. Today is day 60 of that process, by the way. And I always start it with today is day whatever. And some days it's just, hey, like yesterday, I almost totally forgot. It was like 8:45 at night. It's like, whoa. And I usually do it in the morning. And it was 8:45 at night. I was like, oh my gosh, today is day 59. And I am just checking in and now I'm going to bed. It didn't matter. See, I wanted myself to finish this. I wanted myself to win with this. I wanted to create this habit. And I've noticed that the more comfortable I'm getting going on, the more I'm like, ooh, what else can I do? My brain, my creative juices are flowing to find new ideas and new things. So yeah, I know this is not totally related to email, but you do need to build an audience to build a list. So we can talk about that too. So yeah, so it's just kind of interesting. So today, how to make more money in 2020 by doing this one thing with your email list. This is going to be so unsexy. This is going to be so droll. This is going to be so foundational that you're going to go, really, Christina? You couldn't come up with something better than this? Like, really? Really? I'm going to tell you what it is. There's one thing that you can do with your email list. Make more money in 2020. I'm almost laughing at what I'm going to say. You need to email them every single week. I know. Okay. All right. So that's like, what? Seriously? That's it? It's nothing new. I'm telling you, it is nothing new. But you got to talk to your email list every single week. You got to talk to them. You got to have a conversation with them. And I don't mean sell. And I don't mean promote something. I don't mean any of that. One moment. I mean every single week on the clock, on the calendar, you gotta send them an email. And that email needs to be connection focused. What do I mean when I say connection focused? I mean, you need to reveal a piece of you. Like in this video, in this, what you guys are watching, 1, you discovered I am in my 49th year. 2, you discovered I'm on TikTok. 3, you discovered I am a grandparent of 3 now. You discovered that I have boys. You discovered that I have one that's under 18. I'm like trying to think of all the things you discovered about me. Each one of those little things are connection points. You need to pick one of those things and connect with your audience personally. See, what's going to be shifting? What's going to be shifting in now as we're moving forward is this connection, authentic, whatever the word is that I want. Lost it for a second. Got distracted by the dog. Authenticity. Woohoo, found it. This authenticity piece, what's going to be happening now is that people are demanding real authenticity, not Instagram authenticity. And what I mean by that, this is the difference. That's the difference. What TikTok is showing is the difference here is that people are looking for real. Who are you really? Not who do you want the world to see, but who are you really? Or who, do you, are you like, I don't know, do you sometimes, blow up and make stupid decisions? Do you have a messy room? Do you have these are like weird things, but real authenticity, not fake authenticity. And this is something, that is really interesting about, especially coming out of the real estate industry. I'm from real estate is my background, and working with real estate agents is my background. And coming out of that industry and their whole fixation on the words authenticity and transparency. That's like the industry-wide authenticity and transparency. The problem is it's fake authenticity and fake transparency. They're talking about maybe numbers like sold data and stuff, but what the real world really wants is they want to know that if they walked by you on the street or bumped into you or saw you at a shopping mall or were your friend sitting in your living room with you, who are you really? What are you like? And here's a piece to this, a big piece. This all has to do with integrity. And integrity is not about whether you lie, cheat, or steal. I mean, it can be. But integrity is about who you are in here and who you are here. Is it the same out here? Are you living the person that you feel in your heart that you are, that you truly are, that you know in your head you are? So are you really living that? Are you living that? There are people who will lie. Okay, great. That's fine. There are people who would cheat. That's fine. They're living their integrity, I guess. It's not a truth thing. I'm talking about, are you living in alignment with who you want to be and who you are and how you want other people to see you? All those things need to be in alignment. So it's all part of that. And that's why people are looking for real stuff, not fake authenticity. They're looking for real authenticity. So when you're doing your weekly email, you need to actually be sharing these moments. Now, you don't have to share your deepest, darkest secrets. That's not what I'm talking about. But, we all know that there's nobody's life that's perfect, ever. We all know that, there's extremes on all the ends of everything. Show your life, show your elements. And we have to go ahead and be vulnerable. We have to go ahead and realize that there's a bunch of dodo birds out there that are not going to like the choices that you make, the way you vote, the who you align with, as far as like whether you're believe in Jesus or you're Jewish or you're Muslim or you're whatever. We all know that, but you got to be willing to reveal who you are and let the haters be haters and let them out there, because you need to get rid of the people that don't like you. You need to not be so focused on, I just want business, I just want business, I just want business, that you don't say anything in your milk toast to everybody. You don't want to be that. You want to be a vibrant, real person. And that's important. So when you're doing that one thing with your email list, which is talking to them and telling them a little piece of you every single week and getting to know them every single week, stop being a boring neutral milquetoast. Be you. Be you. Be kind, but be you. If you don't agree with something, okay, say it. Generally, I don't talk religion or politics or things that are controversial in any of my stuff, but I talk about other stuff. There's so much else to talk about. I've got 4 boys. All 4 of them are adopted. We have traveled all around the country in an RV. We move like every 3 years like clockwork. We're weird that way. I don't know why. We're not going to this time. So I say, I am all about creating the character, like knowing the character that I want to have and developing myself into that person with that character. I'm all about mindset stuff. I struggle with my health, not like I don't have no health issues, but I struggle with prioritizing my health. I struggle with, really prioritizing my time and my head game, like all these things. You don't need to like give a novel every time, and you don't need to say your deepest, darkest secret, whatever that is, but you do need to give people connection points. You do need to allow them to get to know you, because the only way people connect with you is through the way they know you. So for example, I know people have supported my business in years past because we've adopted 4 boys. We've adopted 2 internationally, 2 domestically. So we've touched all of the gamuts there. And I'm a mom of boys. I don't have girls. I work from home. I have my own business, like all these different things. So who are you? Are you someone, do you volunteer somewhere? Do you have a passion for something? And, a lot of this really involves you figuring out who you are, not who you think other people think you should be. So this is all, this is really interesting. I'm talking about this and I'm like, this actually goes in alignment with my friend Luria Petrucci with Live Streaming Pros is doing. She's going to be launching a uniquely you something, talking about like teaching us how to find out who we are and how to put that into our videos, into our emails, into our presence online. And I'm not sure that's all of what she's doing, but I am definitely going to be sharing her journey and her process of launching that and opening that with you guys, because this is such an important piece. I didn't even realize this is what I was going to be talking about. But it is all a part of you. If you are not comfortable with who you are, you're too worried about catering to who everyone thinks you should be. And I realize that gets into the, we have many roles in life. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you inside. There are times when I feel out of my element and I'm not going to say anything because maybe I just don't agree, but I'm not willing to argue with somebody over it. Maybe I completely think they're nuts, but I'm not going to argue over it. My friendship with them or my desire to be kind to them overrules that desire to argue. All of this, it's all part of this, and it's just all part of it. But Isabella, you knew I was going to say that before I said it. Totally. So did Sally. Yes, exactly. It's all about email. Chandra said, this is my number one struggle and my number one goal to resolve in 2020. Is that your number one struggle? Is that disconnect between what the world sees or what you think the world should see versus who you are? Is that what you're talking about there, Chandra? Because it's still a struggle, even though you guys like pretty much I've had a lot of you guys meet me in person. I am who I am. Like I am who I am. There are times when I'm much quieter, much more subdued. There are times which shocks people. I'm an introvert. So, when I go to big events and stuff, I tend to very much be an introvert. But like on here, it's my time with you. We're having a conversation. Like it's our time together. So I want to make sure that we're engaged with that. So I am different in that aspect. When you meet me in person in a big group versus small group and stuff, I'm not like I am on video in that regard. But when I'm speaking or when I'm teaching anything, all like that, I'm the same. It's me. Yep, Chandra. Yeah, it is. It is interesting. It is interesting because I know where I'm very fine sharing, and I know where I'm not sharing, and I want to get to a point where more of that journey is shared. The journey that I'm more uncomfortable with, the journey that I'm more vulnerable around. Amy Porterfield said something once. She's like, share from the scar, not the wound. So, you don't have to share while you're right in the middle of bandaging the wound and bandaging the process, but you can share from the scar, share from what you've learned. You could just be a few weeks out from learning something and noticing something. I tend to, if I'm struggling with something, you can always tell when I've gone through a struggle and afterwards, because then I start talking about it more. Not my thing specifically, but I start talking about the piece that helped me through it, whether it was a mindset piece, whether it was a habit creation, whatever it was. You can always tell when I've gone through that. So, how to make more money in 2020 by doing this one thing with your email list? You need to connect with them. It's that simple. You got to connect with them. And if you're not nervous, like Chandra, if you're nervous about like the vulnerable stuff, don't share the vulnerable stuff at first. Share little things, little pieces. So much of my life is controversial, like how we raised our kids and how we still raise our who will be 17 in 10 days or 9 days person. Whether we've homeschooled, are we we own guns? That's like a total, like a controversial thing. How we vote is controversial. How we who we worship as far as religion, God, Jesus Christ, who we worship is controversial. Like how we live can be controversial. Going on the road was controversial. I mean, who knew some of the things that are controversial? Like how we decide to put what we put into our mouth is controversial. Keto is controversial. Fasting is controversial. Like everything on the planet is controversial. You just have to do it and own it and be a part of it. And if you don't want to get into the super deep stuff, there's a couple things that I'm just like, I don't really get into a lot of details because it's really volcanic right now around some subjects. So I don't get into them. I don't even mention them on here. But other things that are controversial, but maybe not so volcanic, I will share those pieces. Why? Because I know that when I find people who think or feel the same or live the same way I do in something, I'm like, oh, that's my people. And I listen to them more and I connect with them more. And when I find people who are the total opposite and they have an agenda that I'm like, I'm not interested in that agenda, number one. And number two, I don't want to promote that agenda, whatever it is, then I disconnect from them. And that's a good thing because, and I don't mean I stop listening to them. I mean, I don't put as much time and energy into investing in them as a person. I focus it on the people that I want to get better as or become better as. I hope this is making sense to you guys. But this is all part of your email community and your weekly email. You've got to do that with people. You've got to connect with your people and you need to find your people, your tribe, the people who connect with you in some way or another. And no, everybody's not going to connect with you on all the same ways and all the ways that you are. I mean, a lot of people have no clue what it means to adopt. They have a head knowledge, but they don't actually have real experience. A domestic adoption is very, very different than international adoption. Dealing with kids with some pretty severe trauma, very different than dealing with, oh, he's just a teenage boy. And so it's not that you have any less compassion for them. You just know that, they don't understand it. So that's not who I'm going to listen to for that or on that or whatever, if that all makes sense. So you need to, as someone who is trying to reach your people, you need to let them get to know you. They need to understand where you're coming from, who you're coming from, everything that drives me for my businesses online. So going from real estate and now going into online entrepreneurs, because that's who I am now. Everything that drives me is all around time and impact. Meaning, even in real estate, everything I did was around time. I wanted time with my family. That was my priority. I was not going to be, neither of us, neither my husband and I were going to be the parents that left every single morning at 7 o'clock, came home every night at 6 p.m., or even like for regular jobs, or even with real estate, we were gone all the time. That was not who we were going to be. So our choices all reflected that. Our choices about who we worked with and how we worked. We picked the people we wanted to work with in real estate. We weren't working Sundays. We were not going to take appointments after 6 p.m. during the week. It just wasn't going to happen. And the way to make sure that that happens in your own life is, first of all, know what you want. Know why you're doing it. But that was all the driver for me, and why online businesses, when it became an option, when I started to launch this in 2013, why it was like, I started looking at this in 2008, started moving our real estate business all online, and realized I couldn't do it as much online as I wanted to. I mean, I did a lot. We traveled the country. But then in 2013, when I launched Leads and Leverage, focused on real estate agents, that was a big deal. It was like, this is going to be the answer to what my desires are for my life. And now my youngest will be turning 17 in 9 days. He is graduating in June. He is probably going into the military. That's his desire. And yes, early, because he's graduating early. So that's where he's going. After he's gone, like done and gone, my life is different, meaning I have more time. I have more time that I won't have to plan for him and do things for him, because he'll be on his own life. So my time perspective is going to shift. I want time with my husband, but my husband can come with me. I can go with him. It's very different. As our kids get older, and as they're getting married, and as they're having kids, that shifts. So you can shape things and do things, but that's one of the reasons. That was my big, time has always been my driver for doing my business. So I want to share that in my emails. I want to share that with my community. I want to see who else is like that, or struggling with trying to figure out what they're going to do, etc. So that is why you need to be communicating with and connecting. I'm saying connecting because connecting is the key. You must connect with your email community. You must, every single week. So how to make more money in 2020? You need to connect with your email community every single week, week in and week out. And let me just tell you, you're going to mess up. You're going to forget to send an email. I just realized I forgot to send an email last week. Like, really just realized, because I was busy working on the funnels, and I sent the funnel emails, but I didn't send my weekly connection email. Oops. That's not going to happen this week. So I'm going to make sure it's not going to happen this week. So it's just, you need to connect with, and don't worry about perfection. Just make it your goal, put it on your list, and do it. You guys have been amazing. And as we shift the Ribbit Show 2020 forward, it's going to be much more focused around, I'm going to give you tactical. We're going to talk strategy. We're also going to talk some mindset in this, like the understanding what we're doing, what's against us when that happens, what we run up against. I'm going to bring on some guest experts, etc. But every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, the Ribbit Show will be live right here on Facebook for you. And I would love it if you would join me. And I will get the messenger bot set up to announce, just to let you guys know when the show is airing every single week. That's not happening this week. See, done is better than perfect. This is done. We're here. We're chatting. I've had some great conversations with several of you. I love this. Thank you so much. And if you have questions, if you're still with me, you got questions you want me to dive into in future episodes of The Ribbit Show, I will. I've got 7 years of online digital marketing experience. I focus on helping entrepreneurs double their email open rates. I've got 25 years in the real estate industry. I've had retail stores. I've had service-based, anything in that realm. Like, if you want me to talk about it with you, I will. Let's do this. Let's dive in. If there's something that I'm not knowledgeable enough, I will bring in an expert. Okay, you guys? So let me know. Can't wait to see you guys next week, back here next week. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. And I will see you next Tuesday.